talking about?
What's up, True Feelings family? How you guys doing on this Sunday? I figure I would do Rich and Felicia on a Sunday because somebody need Jesus, and I'm thinking it's gonna be Rich. Listen, anybody who feeling Rich and think Rich is a good guy, I gotta question you. I really do. I didn't like Rich from Love during Lockup, just the way he would communicate with this girl. Remember, he had the nerve to get upset with her and go back and forth because she had a problem with him going to hang out with her friend just to smoke, okay? Y'all remember that? So I'm so glad this day and age right now that this girl got her parents, her cousins, her aunties, everybody rallying around her to make sure what they couldn't do when she was younger, they gonna make sure that they do now and make sure that she's protected from this a-hole, because that's what he is. He was one on Love during Lockup and he won now, okay? Now, I'm sure by now they don't watch the episode of Love during Lockup, but they probably could agree they didn't like the way he was talking to her when it was his fault smoking with the damn friend. All right, let me get out of that because this is making the past is making my blood pressure go up. You know how I felt about that. I don't agree with no man sitting there cursing the shit out of a woman when he was older, the older person in the relationship. He should have known better how to damn communicate. So, you know, I had a big ass problem with that. But somebody in that family, they looking at it. They see what I see. Something wrong with his ass. See, because his rep keep popping in and his rep keep popping the hell out. Now, watching that release, that was a beautiful release to see all her people there. I remember when my son was getting released and just wait. Oh my God, you be so anxious just waiting for that van to show up. It is so much. And when he jumped out that van, that's how we was feeling. Man, I had to just run and hug my baby. So I get it, but they need to watch Rich because Rich should have been honest with these people in the beginning. You know, here everybody is in their family damn near, with the exception with maybe a couple. They all felons. They all went to prison or jail. He could have told them about his stuff and they could have trauma bond over jail stuff instead of him being secretive, trying to come off like he not like them, because that's how he trying to come off with that big goofy ass smile that he had on his damn face. Now, am I the only one that looked at what he did as he was hugging her as disrespectful? At the end of the day, really, y'all just met. But for real, those are her parents right there. Squeezing on her booty like that, that wasn't cool. That, to me, that was very disrespectful to the parents and to her. Kind of shows how you are and how you really respect this girl. This motherfucker couldn't even bring her no flowers.
What?
He didn't bring her no flower. He didn't bring her no damn card saying happy release date. He didn't do shit. He feel like his big goofy ass is the prize, that he is the president. It's like, no, you're not. You thinking too highly of yourself. Honey, if it was me and I was her, I wouldn't have went with his ass. Screw that. I would have went with my damn peoples to New Orleans. That's where I would have went. I can really relate to her story somewhat. You know, once your fathers and your parents leave and you lose that protection, you just kind of like wild out. Her dad went to prison when she was 11. My dad went to prison when I graduated middle school. Like this, when you really starting, when you really need your parents. So I guess he was in jail for a long ass time. So once he went to jail, Mama had to go sell drugs or do whatever she had to do. They was taken away, and then she was in foster care since she was 17, going in and out of the system because she kept running away because she said these weren't my damn people. However, now they back here. They did not even get to visit her because they still have warrants. And I said, okay, you motherfuckers are of age at this point, Mama and Daddy. Why you guys haven't taken care of your warrants? Are they taken care of now? Because at this point in your life, to be a good example to this girl who's just entering the world, who has never had a driver's license, never paid a bill, she never, ever, she was a teenager when she went in, okay? A whole ass teenager. So get your life and get your warrants together and be a good example for this little girl. So we got Auntie over there in the car riding with cousin, feeling all guilty and crying because when she went into foster care, she wanted to get her out of the group home, but she had a hard time getting her out of the group home. As to why, I don't know. But I said, watching that scene, she don't have no right to be feeling guilty about that. The responsibilities lay on that girl's parents. They had her. It wasn't her responsibility. If she tried, it didn't work out, okay. But at the end of the day, that is not her guilt to carry. And I just really had to say that just in case she was watching this shit. It's like that ain't your guilt to carry. That was the parents. They were supposed to do all that. But I like the fact that she's not blaming her parents and she's very forgiving of what she had to go through. At least that's what it's looking like. Now, she said 8 months after daddy got out, she went to jail for her first offense, doing a robbery and all the little stuff that she did, because the person testified and said she was the one to call and set him up. You know what? I have to say, honey, I kind of believe that's what happened. Now, maybe you lured, you did something, but you got him there to the spot to get robbed. And that's why you asked for prison for 10 years. So she could have took the shit to trial, just like my son could have took it to trial. But when you know you're guilty, don't you take shit to trial or you're going to get longer time. So she figured instead of getting up to some 99 years, she'd take that 10. My son didn't do that. They went to trial. They ended up giving him 27 years. He ended up doing 14 years. You guys know the story. So it was smart for that was she should have did that. But for her first offense, seemed like that was, a bit much. But see, they live in Louisiana. Their laws and what they got going up there is way different for what happens down here in Cali. Sometimes our laws are a little bit too soft, if you ask me. So now they get to the restaurant. Now, I have a problem with do-rags. Just like I have a problem with bonnets if you're outside the house. I figure if you put the bonnet on to protect your hair, then you should be able to take that MF off and go outside with your actual hair. Same thing with the damn do-rag. If you've been sleeping with the do-rag all night, you might as well take off the do-rag so we can see your hair and be respectful. Not only did he sit at a dinner table with the family for the first time with the do-rag, he kept his little shades on. See, you can't trust a man who's sitting around with a do-rag and shades on and chewing their gum where you can see it all coming out their mouth, all disrespectful and shit. He was just so disrespectful. Like, I was so irritated with him. I'm glad I wasn't there as a parent, because I think I would have said, I wouldn't have gave a shit. I think it would have went somewhere else. And that's things I need to work on about myself. It's just being too damn outspoken. Because I didn't like that shit at all. Then he brought his dumbass friend with him on top of that, who don't seem too damn bright either. So this is when the red flag should have went up for everybody at the table, and I think it did. They asked him, any parent would ask, what is your plan with my daughter? What is your tent? What you got going on? Because y'all just met now. What you got going on? He got silent. He looked at her for the damn answer. It's like, Negro, you a grown-ass man. They talking to you. And all he can say is, we got a plan. We got something in life. We got something going on. Meaning, he ain't got nothing going on. He's just in it. He on here playing with your child is what he on here doing. And then the father asked, well, damn it, what you do for a job, fucker? Like, what do you do for work? And he just said a little bit of this and that. Well, that could be selling drugs. You a doctor? You a lawyer? You a dentist? What do you do with a little bit of this and that? Because what is it, sir? So when you get vague answers like that, that's a big red flag right then and there, period. But like I said, he should have told about his past and his record to everybody. That way they could have had a whole nice conversation on everybody's jail experience. So now, Daddy, somebody asked, how long y'all been talking? Again, silence. He looked at her for the answer. I don't know why he kept looking at her for the answer. Then he said that when they started talking, he was married, but then he got divorced, and that's when they started talking, which didn't even make any sense. And then his goofy ass friend, when ain't really a good friend, gonna say, hell, I didn't even know you was married. So that was just another thing that said, okay, red flag. What the hell is this? So she went to the bathroom. Now, see, she on some grown woman shit. She said, instead of going out there putting him on Front Street in front of my peoples, she said, I ain't going to do none of that. I'm going to let them question his ass, and I'm just collecting the information. See, she been in jail. She been in prison, and she been schooled from 17. So, she been schooled. That's what she do is play with men. But he's sitting here thinking he playing the game. But he got family all involved in her mix. And that's a good thing, because they going to find out about this little bullshit. You saw that little scene where they was kind of getting into it, and he pulled her arm and Auntie came through. I think, no, that was the cousin. Like, dude, you're gonna get jumped by all them damn Italian females. Don't you play with that girl. Don't you touch her. Like I used to tell my daughter, if a man touch your arm, or boy, you let us know. They ain't got no business grabbing or doing nothing, period. So like I said, his rep would show up. This is his rep. This is when the rep left. You notice when he got irritated, he leaned back in his chair and he started chewing that gum all hard. Like I said, very disrespectful, showing no respect to the parents or anything like that. There's no way that I would allow my son to sit around people that they just met with their gum and they hat and do rag. My son, no, if he went anywhere with me when he lived at home, you better take that do rag off because you're not getting in the car with that shit on your head because I don't like it. But he was just disrespectful. And I think they can see that he's going to be a problem, and they're going to have to do a little bit more investigating with his little punk ass. Because the vibe is definitely off. And she really felt that and noticed it when the parents gave her that phone. Like I said, he didn't bring her no flowers. He didn't bring her no card. He didn't do anything. So now, when she first saw him, she was like, oh, he was the greatest thing since Sun Chips. And now within that little bit of time of being with his ass, she sees something else and she ain't liking it. Like I said, I would never got in the car with him and this little weird ass friend. I'm going with my parents. If you want to meet me in New Orleans, you go ahead and do that. And I love her little accent, okay? I love her little accent. But yeah, I wouldn't have got in the car with them. I would have went with my parents because that's some bullshit. That is some bullshit. He just there just to get the booty or whatever he's trying to get. But if you can't tell me what your intentions and plans are with my daughter, then why you here? Because most times on Love After Lockup, these men have a plan. They want to get married. They have all these plans. He ain't got no plans. He didn't even know what to say. So he just said a bunch of dumb shit that made no sense to nobody sitting at that damn table. And to close it out, we gonna close it out with Michael. God, I don't know why I can't remember her name, but this dingbat bra right here. So we all know when he got out, he had to go to the halfway house. Now this girl claiming she broke, she ain't got no money for her kid, she can't do X, Y, and Z, but she done bought a $38,000 Jeep. But at the end of the day, he lying about his finances to her. She lying about his finances to him and her finances, okay? But at the end of the day, he asked for all that shit. So if I was her, I'd pull out all the receipts of all the shit that he ever wanted while he was locked up and let him know this is why your credit bad. Now here's the thing. He could check his own credit score. I don't know why his mama haven't checked his credit score. She been doing everything else for his ass. He got a phone. Everybody know how easy it is to check your credit score. So he's had well enough time since he been out at that halfway house to find out what's going on with his damn credit score. So far since he been out, they ain't been able to hang out just but a couple of times, running errands. And it was very interesting to me that he said that, he was close with the kids. He would call and help them do their homework and all this crap and shit. But at the same time, this girl was suffering with money when you was locked up and you didn't give a shit about her kids. He didn't give a shit about them damn kids and what they got going through, because if he did, he wouldn't have had her spend all that goofy ass money on his ass. But he about to find out he got bad credit and his credit cards ain't got no damn money on it. However, he's so happy and stressed out and horny, he haven't even noticed that she got a brand new car. Now it seems like both of them want to live on champagne budget but got beer money. Here she is. She got a house with a pool, all this little shit that she barely can afford. He grew up poor, so he trying to hold on to his funds, and you supposed to be the loving wife, and you done got the boy with no funds and bad credit. However, he is hiding money from her that she don't know about, but probably didn't even take. Like, bitch, you could have took her to Red Lobster. Here she is still paying for your shit. Still paying for your meals. He got a whole $14,000 maybe and then some, and he can't even take her to In-N-Out Burger, Red Lobster. He ain't shit and she ain't shit. So they kind of deserve what they about to do to one another. That's how I see their relationship. You tell me what you think. I'll see y'all with something else later on. Don't be an asshole, y'all. Bye.